The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Heart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Heart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud mayor of Waterloo. And as the year comes to a close, some amazing developments have occurred. 5 presidential candidates spoke back-to-back at the Cedar Valley Sportsplex. The candidates were asked about local issues by mayors from across the United States. A local bank makes a big-time investment, and finally, Highway 63 is completed, climbing over rather than under the Canadian National Railroad, which is a major improvement for motorists. And we have a great show in store for you, so without further delay, let's get to it. At the start of the 5-hour Local America Presidential Forum, the moderator, Mayor Erik Garcetti of Los Angeles, eloquently stated, "What is happening today has never happened before and is important for the 5 Democratic presidential candidates, Senator Amy Klobuchar, former U.S. Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro, Senator Cory Booker, and businessman Tom Steyer, and South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg, to understand why local issues matter." And Mayor Garcetti continued, "We need a leader in the White House, but we also need local partners in American cities." Now, what does this mean for Waterloo? More on this monumental event after this.
If we know what to throw into our recycling container, we're taking a simple step towards being a better recycler. You should always recycle flattened cardboard, metal cans, and plastic bottles and jugs with the lids on. By breaking down your cardboard boxes and placing each item in the container individually, it makes them easier to process and leaves more room for other recyclables. And by avoiding contaminated items like plastic bags and greasy pizza boxes, it ensures that we can make a positive difference in our homes, our communities, and our world. Learn more on how to become a better recycler at recyclingsimplified.com.
As the multi-candidate presidential forum was taking place, it was mayors, not the more well-known 2020 Democratic hopefuls, who got all the attention. But at least a dozen mayors from around the country converged in Waterloo for direct discussions on everyday issues like education, housing, gun violence, and infrastructure. The mayors challenged the candidates to consider topics from the perspective of local leaders, mayors and their constituents, who are at the forefront of the challenges, need solutions irrespective of the gridlock in our federal government. And the forum was kicked off by none other than our very own talented, incredible, spectacular, did I already say spectacular? Amanda Goodman. Amanda was an anchor at KWWL for 18 years, is now the executive director of the Family and Children's Council. And I know it's true, Amanda, you said out of all the presentations you made on KWWL and the rest of your career, you have never been this nervous as you are on Heart for the City. And you've been waiting for over 20 years with all the Emmys you have and all those things. You have waited this long to be on Heart for the City. So it's an honor for you, I know.
I mean, it's a complete honor. And in several languages, it's an honor to be here. But I'm excited to be here because I get to flip the script on you because you're used to asking the questions, but we're going to have some deja vu, and I get to ask you questions yet again. Correct. So are you using... Okay. So first of all, this was a huge day. The presidential forum last Friday was a huge day for the city of Waterloo. Why was it so important for you to bring Accelerator for America here to Waterloo?
Well, because there are so many great things taking place in this community. We've traveled to Las Vegas, we've gone to Philadelphia, Oklahoma City, Palo Alto, California, with the Accelerator. And for them to come to Waterloo, Iowa to see the many different developments, projects, prospects, and all we have taking place is absolutely incredible. And in addition, Iowa is the first in the nation for presidential caucuses. So the entire country, the entire world's eye was on Waterloo, the Cedar Valley, and Iowa that day.
You opened it up with something that was just powerful, and you said, you know, people said, why Waterloo? And you said, why not?
Right, why not Waterloo? When you take a look, Waterloo is the American mid-size smaller community. When you take a look at overall diversity, our Waterloo Community School speaks 45 different languages, 75 different dialects. We have heavy industry. We have two of the top 10 largest manufacturing. We're moving over to high-tech, incredible projects like fintech, and we are that community. We've had ups and downs. We've had the farm crisis, the housing crisis, and we're a community that has turned the corner and that's on the move. So I think we resemble more of America than what people actually give us credit for.
And it was nice to see Waterloo in the headlines for something positive rather than negative that the national and mainstream media like to jump on. Let's talk about the Accelerator for America.
Right.
What is this all about?
That's a good question. So
thank you. I appreciate that.
So the Accelerator for America, we call it a do tank. When you take a look at what sometimes happens on the federal level with gridlock and a lot of red tape to do specific things, our local communities miss out. So the Accelerator for America was founded by Mayor Erik and Rick Jacobs, and it's bringing government, philanthropy, and business together to solve some of the complex issues that we face every day. Areas such as opportunity zones and areas such as transportation, areas of overall infrastructure and workforce. So we get together, a collective of us, we go to communities, we see the best practices, we share best practices, and we consider ourselves a do tank. I think since the inception of the Accelerator, probably about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, there's been probably about $2.2 billion worth of infrastructure, transportation, and opportunities brought to the local communities we work with.
The one thing that I noticed that the Los Angeles mayor, Erik came up to me and said how tight you two are.
Right.
And it's, I mean, here is the mayor of Los Angeles, a major U.S. city. How did that bond form, and how has that been helpful to the city of Waterloo then?
What is that, the third or fourth largest economy in the world?
Yeah.
So about a year and a half ago, Mayor Garcetti came here. His wife's family is actually, her grandmother, mother, their family is from Waterloo. So he came in and I took him over to TechWorks. I showed him a couple things, but he really came in to visit and find out a little lineage of his wife's family. They visit some of the burial sites to see where their family was laid to rest at. So ever since then, I started saying, well, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And then we started talking, and we both came to the agreement that just because you're a smaller community doesn't mean you don't have some of the same issues and challenges we have in larger communities. So they said they had this program called Accelerator for America, and I was like, okay, I'll hear back from you, bye.
Right.
Don't call me, I'll call you. But they actually called, and they have been a part of moving forward and helping this community since then, and it's been an incredible relationship.
Tell me about your role in the U.S. Council of Mayors. This is something that you've been very involved in. So what's your role? Because I hear you're like you're a big player on the U.S. Council.
I won't say that. I think I'm a big fish in a big lake. Right? But the U.S. Conference of Mayors is the leading organization with regards to mayors and having mayors specialize in particular program areas from housing to leisure. And so I've been a part of the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and I know you probably remember we received about a $100,000 grant to go to the Healthy H2LU program as well.
Was this the one? Because I know you had a lot of criticism before your first term as mayor, and an outgoing city council member referred to you as a mayor in training and criticized you.
Right.
And what they didn't know is that you were going to our nation's capital to get a lot of money for the city of Waterloo. Why did you keep it? You could have solved that all very quickly. Why did you keep that kind of under wraps at that moment?
Well, because if it's worth enough to go to do, then it's worth enough. If I need to pay for it by myself, if I need to do this, I'm going to do it because, no person is an island and not one person knows everything. So I'm going to go out and seek information. I'm an educator in heart, so I believe in continuous education, and I'm going to currently do it. And people expect me to learn as much as I can to help our community.
I appreciate that. Tell me about the Local America Presidential Forum. It was nothing I've ever seen in all my years in journalism and covering politics, covering the caucuses. Why is it so unique?
Well, because mayors were the one that were able to actually interview the candidates. When you go to the grocery stores, when you go to the basketball games locally, the high school games, but it's mayors that are interacting with people. We can't move and go away. We can't have a shutdown. We have to be there to work for our community. So we're that gap in between government working on behalf of the people, and then it just tied it all together when we can ask those local questions.
So I don't know if you can say or not, but I'm going to put you on the spot. We're running short of time here. Do you know who's going to get your endorsement? What Democratic candidate is going to get your endorsement for the President of the United States?
Who said it's going to be Democratic?
Or okay, I'm making that assumption.
No, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I'm still listening and hearing what people have to say and who has the best platform for Waterloo, Iowa, and for cities across this country.
Okay. Can you, since you were a politician too, can you see through some of the political correctness of everything? Everyone says something, just the right thing. Not that you do that.
Well, proven track record. How are you going to get it done? You can say a lot of things, but when the rubber meets the road, how are you actually going to get that done? And we have incredible candidates right now that are vying for attention, that are visiting Iowa. They all have great ideas, but we just need to see who can actually accomplish it and who has the best platform for America.
Hey, my job's done here. Thanks for letting me dust off my journalistic chops here. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we back out of retirement for a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Can we have you back?
Absolutely.
All right. So, Amanda, thank you so much for taking time to be with us and for your part in the forum. The 5 candidates all indicated their support to provide help to local cities. To quote Julian Castro, there are a lot of things you can do, but you need a strong partner in the state, and you need a strong partner in the federal government. And I think, and I can agree with that. This was truly a momentous event, and we proved that Waterloo was the best place to have the first ever event, inviting mayors, many with whom I have worked and conferenced with, to come to Waterloo. I mean, it was heartfelt, and it was truly a great accomplishment. And they were all impressed with the noticeable renaissance that has taken place here. And Cory Booker said, "Dear God, we need a mayor in the White House," like Quentin Hart. He just said we need a mayor in the White House. I'm sorry, I messed that part up. And I don't know who the former mayor of Newark was referring to, but I'm not throwing my hat into the ring, at least not this cycle. But moving on. Built in 1928, the facility, now called TechWorks, was constructed by John Deere to manufacture its tractor line in Waterloo. Since 2007, the building has been a prominent presence on the Cedar Valley TechWorks campus. Donated by John Deere as part of a project to transform this heavy industrial site into a vibrant economic engine for downtown Waterloo community and the country. The bottom 3 floors of the building are partially occupied, while the top 3 floors, totaling 75,000 square feet, have remained vacant. But this is dynamically changing. How so? The answer is after this.
Getting healthy has never been easier with a membership at Cedar Valley Sportsplex. Offering 80 free classes a week at all skill levels, there's always new and fun opportunities to grow. You never have to miss out on your favorites with our state-of-the-art facilities, featuring great exercise equipment, a track and field, pool, and 2 regulation gyms. So whether your game is football or pickleball, let the Cedar Valley Sportsplex turn your routine into something amazing.
Lincoln Savings Bank has purchased the top 3 floors of the TechWorks building, which is a significant move for the bank and is anticipated to have a positive economic impact for downtown Waterloo. To tell us more about this is Erik Skovgard, CEO and President, and Andrea Devore, Facility Manager at Lincoln Savings Bank. So welcome to Heart for the City.
Thank you.
Well, we appreciate you being here, but can you tell us a little bit about the history of Lincoln Savings Bank?
You bet. So I'll take the questions on LSB. Andrea is our expert on the building.
Okay.
LSB actually started in 1902 and started a little town that was called Berlin, Iowa, and it was German Savings Bank.
Wow.
And then around World War I, neither of those names were very popular, so it then became Lincoln, Iowa, and Lincoln Savings Bank. and started in some small towns south of Waterloo, Cedar Falls, and we've grown to the point where we now have 19 locations across really from Des Moines all the way up to Greene, Nashua area in Iowa.
Wow, that's incredible. So what were a couple of the factors that led to you to even begin thinking about the TechWorks campus?
We were running out of space. We've had significant growth in our administration and operational areas, and so we needed space. And so we started looking at different places. We looked at Des Moines, we looked at Cedar Falls, we looked at Rhinebeck, and that's where our headquarters are, is in Rhinebeck. And we came to the TechWorks building. It gave us an opportunity to be in downtown Waterloo, which we were really passionate about. Mm-hmm. And it's a beautiful building, or at least it will become a beautiful building.
Well, we'll make up a new word, beautifuler.
Beautifuler.
But are the corporate offices moving too, or just right now, just that portion?
So headquarters will remain in Rhinebeck.
Right.
Administration, accounting, HR, IT, marketing, all of those departments that support, we call it our shared services teams, will be at the TechWorks building.
Okay. So what are some of the advantages to the TechWorks building and to banking?
Go ahead.
Right now, a lot of our operations is in a facility on Kimball Avenue, but the size of TechWorks and 75,000 square feet gives us an opportunity to combine all of our operations into a single location to create efficiencies that we didn't have before, spread out between Waterloo, Rhinebeck, Hudson, and so now we'll be under one roof and all working together.
And so you're moving from a building. So we'd be looking for somebody to come in too, a little plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buy or lease, let us know.
All right. But for a project like this, and knowing that the top 3 floors, there's going to be heavy investment to changing those floors and the way they look. What are some changes that will happen on those top 3 floors?
Right now, we'll be occupying floors 5 and 6. And we've been working with Envision Architecture to combine the 2 floors. We'll be opening it up with a big atrium, so 6th floor will overlook onto 5th, opening up the top glass to the windows that once were there, and creating kind of a open office concept.
Okay. And, what's amazing, when you take a look at the overall redevelopment of that area and the investment that John Deere had made, 10, 15 years ago in the WDC, and that site looks completely different than it did 10 years ago. And I don't know, those that are listening right now, if you know that right next door is the Courtyard Marriott, which is also a refurbished foundry building for John Deere's, and there's space, and there's so much incredible opportunity with Grand Crossing that's right across the parking lot in Winter Bottom, the walking we're talking about LSB. What's happened though to make you need this type of more space? There's something special that has happened with software or something like that, right?
Yeah, we've just experienced exponential growth really about the last 18 months. We have started partnering with fintech partners, so companies like Square, Acorns, MoneyLion, Capital, M1. What they do is they build software on the front end to their already products and services they have in place, and then we're the bank on the back side. So basically we provide open APIs that let them develop on the front side. So what this has done is we have gone from 18 months ago, we would have had 18,000 customers as a decent-sized community bank in Iowa. Now we have over 2 million customers.
Wow.
And so with 2 million customers, we need people that are good at compliance and fraud expertise and customer service and accounting, HR, IT, all of those people. Those are the jobs that we're adding that will be going into the TechWorks building.
And when do you anticipate beginning renovations?
We'll begin renovations in hopefully February.
Okay.
And then it'll be 1 full year, so we'll be moving in hopefully in February of 2021.
And will LSB continue to work with the agricultural clients?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep,
okay.
That's really what started Lincoln Savings Bank, and I live out in Rhinebeck, and we have a lot of shareholders out in that area, so we know farming really well.
Okay. And will any of your high-tech industry be working with TechWorks at all? Could there be a mesh or?
Well, in what way do you mean?
There's advanced manufacturing downstairs, and then upstairs is high tech, and then right in between there you have Grove Cedar Valley. So is there any mix, or right now it is these three areas we're developing, we're moving forward, and then the work with the chamber and other partners will continue to do that as well, or?
Yes, and one of the things we've talked about as we continue to grow is, so the fintech industry is just exploding. There's so many new entries, and one of the things we've talked about is adding an incubator at some point where we as a bank and a true innovator as a community bank would start an incubator where we help fintechs get started, develop different software applications, and that might be a year or two down the road.
Right.
We're trying to figure out how to hire enough people to take care of these 2 million customers right now. But
Okay. And then the undeveloped lots or property, what are your thoughts about that?
So we'll be looking for tenants. Really what we want to do with our top 3 floors is create the premier office space in the Cedar Valley, if not the state of Iowa. We want to create an amazing place to work, people, technology, innovation, great culture. At Lincoln Savings Bank, again, being a community bank, that maybe makes us unique in the fintech world. We're extremely passionate about our communities. So getting involved with Waterloo and downtown Waterloo and economic inclusion and all that, we're really excited to be part of that.
Right, and these projects are great and they're incredible. But one thing I noticed working with you from the beginning to try to make all this reality is that your heart really shows through in what you do and the way that you work with all the employees at Lincoln Savings Bank. So we thank you for just being an incredible leader for our local communities in the Cedar Valley State and all 18, 19 locations. They need to be absolutely glad they have you. But I want to thank you, Erik and Andrea, for taking the time out of your busy schedules. We are also proud to have Lincoln Savings Bank playing a pivotal part in economic success of our downtown. And I'm sure you will find your experience here fruitful and enjoyable, and perhaps you would visit us again when the facility is operational, or maybe we can come visit you and do the show from there. All right. I am one of the most fervent advocates of Waterloo and its ability to grow a business both large and small. And Waterloo is well set for advanced manufacturing, logistics, financial services, and retail. The City of Waterloo offers impressive incentives to existing and prospective businesses that help to ensure continued economic growth and great career opportunities. And growth is a constant in our community. Not long ago, the Iowa Department of Transportation opened the new U.S. Highway 63 bridge, Dane and Newell Street, which some label Hart Expressway. No pun intended. But long detours, waiting for trains, and east side traffic snarls are all over. But it's time to rejoice, and city and business leaders gathered at the site recently to celebrate the milestone, which completes a 7-year, $56.5 million rebuilding of the highway from Jefferson Street downtown to North Donald Street. More on this landmark event after this.
Welcome to the Waterloo Regional Airport. Waterloo Regional Airport is served by American Airlines with daily flights to Chicago O'Hare and connections anywhere in the world. Our airport offers convenient and easy access, fast security lines, $6 daily parking, and comfortable passenger waiting areas. Whether you're traveling for business or pleasure, fly ALO. Visit us online to book a flight or to check our flight schedule. Fly with us today.
So much has happened in neighborhood improvement and economic development while the new Highway 63 construction was taking place. In addition, our guest has stated that you used to drive 22 feet below the railroad tracks. Now you'll be driving 32 feet over the top of them. But driving over the peak of the structure, you can get a glimpse of the Sullivan Park ball fields and the OMJC Signal Building, and a new view of the Queen of Peace Church spire. And Black's Building as well, it goes up high enough, but a great snapshot of the city to people driving south into the heart of the city. And to tell us the now completed project is DOT spokesman Pete Hjelmstad. Welcome back to our show.
Thank you for having me again, Mayor.
Did I pronounce that right?
You did, Hjelmstad. You nailed it.
All right. Thank you. So, if you don't mind, Pete, tell us, how do you, what is an IDOT field service coordinator?
Pretty much everything public relations.
Okay.
Any type of questions, deal with the public. We have public meetings on projects. When we have projects in place, I help get information out. Storms coming, questions about anything DOT. That's pretty much where I step in.
So this project was how many years? Six
actually,
years? The overpass, 7 years. The overpass was 2 years. And I've been mayor 4 years, on council 8 years. So now you're telling me at the completion of the overpass that I could have called you or had people call you?
Yep, that's exactly right. And guess what? Some of them did.
I think
guarantee
they
you.
did as well. But can you, now that traffic is flowing and, the 63 portion, what's still left to be completed?
Just mainly some cosmetic work that will be done behind the curb. Things like sodding and things like that. There's not going to be any lane closures during the day. If there are any lane closures needed, they will have to take place at night, so it'll be less disruptive to any traffic.
Right. And I remember getting my car washed, right, and then heading north on 63 and going under that underpath, and without a doubt, there was always water. And so who do I bill that to, that I just washed my car? But what has been done to mitigate some of those problems?
What we did was put in a groundwater suppression system. When we started looking at what we were going to do during reconstruction, we knew that we had to take care of that water problem.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons we went over the top of it. Now, just going over the top, we had to still do something about the groundwater because it's still going to go somewhere.
Right.
So we put in a groundwater suppression system that pumps that water out of there. That way we were able to go over to the top, and you get what you got right now.
Right. So was there any parts of Verdon Creek that have been improved or worked on with this project?
Nope, there were not.
Okay. And now there's a railroad overpass that was formulated. And what did it take to move the tracks?
What we had to do, the railroad tracks right now are on the same alignment as they were before the project. We obviously had to move the trains out of the way so we could build the overpass. So what we did was more or less built, it's actually called a shoe fly, it's more or less a little bit of a detour. So we built tracks that went to the north, curved around the area. We switched trains over to that. The contractor was able to work in the area of the tracks. When they got done, moved the trains back, took that railroad detour out, and put them back on the regular alignment.
Well, what was amazing, because I would come that way, I live north of that area, but I would come that way every day, and then you see a little dirt, then you see a little more dirt, then you see a lot of dirt, and it was that compacted soil. Like, what did it take to actually do? What went into doing this project?
Well, there's a lot of fill in that area, 140,000 cubic yards.
Oh, wow.
If I remember right, like a regular tandem gravel truck holds about 14 cubic yards. So that's what, 10,000 loads?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that all went in there. Obviously, yes, it is compacted. Up near the abutments of the bridge, we have what's called lightweight foam concrete, just to make it even a little bit more stable. It's a really concrete that's very light and airy, but it's very, very stable.
Right.
So a lot of that is in there, and again, it's just to get the good base so we can put a highway down that's going to stay where it needs to be and stay in good condition for many years.
Yeah, it's amazing. One day you drive by there, and then all of a sudden you see this much done.
Yeah.
And then the next day you go by there, you're like, how is this even possible to do this much? And when you first went into construction, because it was a 2-year period, we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be forever.
Right.
But to see the type of progress makes it easier and easier to watch as well. But with a project like this, I think it was $56.7 million roughly.
For the whole, all three segments.
How is this funded?
It's funded both federally, it's through state dollars. Obviously the city of Waterloo has money into some of the amenities and things like that.
As for the 2020 and 63, because I want to read this question exactly from one of our viewers. Is Iowa responsible for the care, maintenance, and expansion of the miles that exist within the state borders? And what role does Waterloo have in this area?
Yeah, Iowa, the DOT is responsible for the highway itself. Like Highway 20, there aren't curbs on it, so then we're responsible for the ditches and things like that as well. In Waterloo, like on Highway 63, where there are curbs, the city is responsible for what's behind the curb.
Right. So tell us what material goes into the concrete walls and in situations like that.
Well, it's really kind of a neat setup. The base for the highway, it's granular, it's a gravel material.
Right.
The concrete walls are 6 inches thick, they're panels, and they are actually held together by straps that run east and west between the two sides, and then you fill it with gravel and add more straps and more panels, and then I guess gravity and physics take over from there to hold it together.
All right. And I know we mentioned just a little bit earlier about the overpass and how that's happening. Now you're not going under, you're going over, and you shifted the tracks or whatever, or you didn't shift it. But tell me, how were the railroad tracks? Did they have to be reset?
It's a new rail that goes through there because, once again, there was new rail for the shoe fly, the little detour, and then again the train tracks went back on their regular alignment, and we were able to build over the top of them.
Okay. And what I've also noticed too, how important transportation is to overall economic development, because from the start of that project at Donald Street, and even some of the improvements that have been made a little bit further north of Donald Street, but starting there, you have the Allen Hospital School of Nursing and all the facilities, the skilled care facilities. You have the Logan Plaza area that's been completely redeveloped, and it's a medical park, and the city was able to obtain some of the land over in that area for more development as well. You move to the corner of 63 and Donald, and you look kitty corner, and you see all the $50 million or whatever it was investment that Unity Point Allen Hospital has made in their facilities. And then we just cut the ribbon for a project a little bit further down in front of the old Logan School where Carver's at now, another medical facility. You move further down, you just see incredible growth, the Hawkeye, the Grand Crossing as you come into downtown. And it's absolutely important for the projects that you do and how you do it to the overall economic vitality of our communities.
Well, that's great. It's been fun for me. I've been down here for the Newell to Donald project, from the Jefferson to Franklin, and now the Franklin to Newell project. Been coming down here almost every week, and not only seeing the improvements obviously in the roadway projects, but like you said, to see the improvements that are happening around that as well.
Right.
It's really fun to see.
Yeah, until you were able to start on the 218-63 in that little area, and then move out a little bit further south. Hint, hint. That's what that's one of the questions. No,
I missed that one.
but thank you so much. It seems like the project took a long time to complete, but in reality, it was only 2 seasons to complete the last, most complex segment. But what a landmark change. And Pete, thanks for taking time with us once again to update us. This is your 3rd visit to our show, and we certainly appreciate your willingness to be the DOT spokesperson and keeping us informed as the project progresses. And we look forward to your next visit when another project with the Iowa DOT takes place. So we are a city that is constantly on the move, and the DOT is an important part of it. The average daily count of vehicles on southbound US 63 at the Cedar River Bridge was 9,500 based on a 2014 Iowa DOT traffic count. And as drivers traveled over the Canadian National Railroad tracks, they are on the top 141,000 cubic yards of granular backfill, which equates to roughly 11,720 dump truck loads of material brought to the site. And our thanks to former mayors John Roof, who pounded the pavement for funds to pay for the project, and Mayor Tim Hurley and Buck Clark for their part in keeping the project going. And we all have a completed project that provides greater driving efficiency and improved safety, and we're absolutely proud of it. But don't you go away. We'll be right back.
When recycling, don't bag it. By avoiding bags and containers, we're taking a simple step towards being a better recycler. Many people think that bagging or grouping recyclables helps the process, but in fact, it's the opposite. By placing each item in the container individually, it allows recyclables to be sorted faster and more efficiently. This will ensure they become quality materials that can be turned into useful new products in our homes and communities. Learn more on how to become a better recycler at recyclingsimplified.com.
Looking for something to do? For entertainment, shopping, eating, and more, go to experiencewaterloo.com for complete listings of so many exciting activities, places, and venues. And be sure to check the Main Street website, www.mainstreetwaterloo.org. And we have much going on in downtown Waterloo, including exciting annual events which you won't want to miss. And consider the many opportunities to be a part of Main Street by volunteering. Well, that's our show. We welcome your suggestions and feedback. Remember to tell others that these episodes are available for viewing from the City of Waterloo website at cityofwaterlooiowa.com and search for Heart for the City. And be sure to like us on Facebook. And please join us next time, and thank you for watching Heart for the City. Until then, I think you will agree it's a great day to be in Waterloo.